Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Come Out Things. Now, the topic of public interest is relevant to the picking of senators right now, and the president's authorization and the prime minister's authorization relevant to whom they should be picked from and how they should be picked. Well, I have here with me Mr. Caswell Franklin, who needs no introduction, and I'm going to let him explain to you what is right from wrong as far as this is concerned. Mr. Franklin, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Minister. And I'm very grateful for you allowing me to use your forum to speak on a few things. Today, we're talking about the Senate. And if I can go a little bit more, I'll talk about what happened in the elections. I don't mind. But Senate today. The Senate is provided for in the Constitution, Composition of Parliament, Chapter 5. And it provides that there shall be a Senate consisting of 21 persons who, being qualified for appointment as senators in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution, have been so appointed in accordance with the provisions of this section. And they said 12 senators shall be appointed by the Governor General acting on the advice of the Prime Minister. 2 senators will be appointed by the Governor General, well, no President, acting on the advice of the Leader of the Opposition. And then, in his own discretion, the President has the right to appoint senators to represent religious, economic, or social interests, or such other interests as the President considers ought to be represented. So those 7 persons that the President is supposed to appoint, he does so in his own discretion. So I found it very strange when the Prime Minister said that she will give 2 seats to the Democratic Labour Party when she was trying to be magnanimous at the end of the election when the Barbados Labour Party won all 30 seats. Well, the only thing that the Prime Minister could have done legally would have been to appoint the 2 Democratic Labour Party people from among the 12 that she had. But I found it really strange that the President, who should be acting in his own discretion, would then jump on the Prime Minister's bandwagon and send correspondence. As I understand it, he called Pedro Shepard according to the letter that Pedro Shepard wrote to members of the General Council. I have a copy, saying that the President called him and tell him to expect a letter. It is not done like that. First of all, when the President calls you, any communication between you and the President is supposed to be confidential unless the President tells you to that you should disclose it. But with the excitement that the General Secretary of the Democratic Labour Party had, he went about and made everybody know the President called him. Now this looks bad. The President cannot be seen to be acting politically. If the Prime Minister is saying, I'm going to give some seats to the Democratic Labour Party, the President must stay above politics. If he, in his own discretion, had said, I am going to appoint 2 people from that were Dems or whatever, that's his business. But when he's given directions in a situation where he is not supposed to accept directions, usually the Governor General, the President, they make appointments or whatever, but this is on the advice of somebody. This is one of the few times when the President acts in his own discretion. And now you see it's all muddled with the President now, and I don't understand it, you know. I really don't. I think he should know better. But that aside, the Democratic Labour Party now has been embarrassed, made to look stupid, because they went ahead and decided that they're going to recommend Ralph Thorne and Ryan Walters. That, my friends, is another travesty. Ralph Thorne was elected for the first time in May 2018, and he needs 8 years to serve in Parliament to get a pension. So this is the way to give Ralph a pension. Nobody can tell me that that is not the case. They can tell me whatever you feel like, but only the Lord himself can come and tell me, Calvin, that's not true. We are not trying to give Ralph a pension. And Ralph is an attorney. I don't see why after all these years, he should be scrambling to get a parliamentary pension. Mind you, it is one of the most generous pensions everywhere in the world because you get half your salary after only 8 years. Public servants don't even get a pension after 8 years. You gotta work 10. And in that 10, you're entitled to a fifth of your salary, they're entitled to half. So it's a lucrative pension, and I suspect they might want it. And when they don't get it, they find a way to be creative. Well, they find a way to be creative to give Ralph a pension.
Can I interrupt you
Sure, please.
for a second?
Yes.
No, I'm hearing this morning that he was not picked. I'm hearing that Ryan Walters from the Democratic Labour Party and Karina Goodrich from the Friends of Democracy were the ones that were picked to be senators. I'm hearing that this morning. Also, there was a lot of talk on social media relevant to who is entitled to. People were saying that the party with the most votes would be entitled to senators. I want you to be able to clarify that for me because I'm not sure.
That is absolute nonsense. They are trying to convince people that that is the situation that should happen in Barbados. No, it is not. In Barbados, we have a first past the post system. Parties are not factored into our constitution. So parties in Barbados do not run. If you want parties to run, do like Guyana. Let the parties run and name their candidates. Name a slate of candidates. So when you are running in Guyana, you run for the party. And if you leave the party, you lose your seat. Well, that brings me to the question whether the Prime Minister wants to do something like crossing the floor legislation. No, you don't need crossing the floor legislation. Just provide a system. If you want to do it wholesale. Don't do half and half. If you are going to have a situation where you elect parliamentarians and when you penalize them if they cross the floor, they are not elected for the Barbados Labour Party. Every candidate that is elected to the House of Assembly does so as an individual. Mind you, they might band themselves into parties, but for convenience or because the party, the group that commands the Prime Minister is the person who commands the support of the majority in the House. The Leader of Opposition is the person who commands the support of the persons who commands the support of the people who do not support the government. Well, but they can go and come as they like because they are individuals. There's no party in our constitution. So when you are saying, the party that get the most votes, no parties get votes in Barbados. That is nonsense. And I hear a lot of political scientists, more like political alchemists, saying, making all kind of excuses, trying to convince people that this is the situation in Barbados. No, it is not. If you want that situation, it will be a situation where the parties will never, ever get all 30 seats. So you won't get all 30 seats, and you still won't have a proportional representation kind of system. It don't work. Because in the proportional representation system, if you have the most votes, you get the most seats. If you get 55% of the votes, you get 55% of the seats. So if that had happened and you had parties running, then you would be able to say the party with the most votes gets the most seats. Hence, you can't leave. So that party would not be able to lose a candidate. That candidate would leave, and another person from that same party will take his place. That is the system that they are trying to implement, but not implement. You can't have it both ways. Give us a proportional representation system in Barbados where the party with the most votes get the most seats, or first past the post. But you can't mix the two. The two of them don't make sense.
Okay. Well, we have gone over by a bit, but we will have a part 2 to this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just thank Mr. Franklin for helping to clarify quite a lot of points and to educate the people of Barbados relevant to this. And as I said, this is Come Out Things. I want you all please to keep your spirits up, keep your tempers down, and remember each and every day to do something good for someone, each and every day. I'm Mr. Clark, this is Mr. Caswell Franklin. This is Come Out Things. We are out.